Because your research project requires you to use the Valencia College Library in order to find your research, I wanted to walk you through how to access the library, some of the services the library offers, as well as how to find different databases and things of that nature to look for. Okay, so first and foremost, you need to sign into Atlas in order to access the library. So we will start by signing into our Atlas accounts. Into Atlas, you will be brought to the My Atlas page, and you're going to scroll down to the libraries. Your page might look a little bit different than mine, but we all have the library section, and this is what you're looking for. Before we get into searching the library, I want to draw your attention to a couple of things. The first is we offer the Ask a Librarian online library help service. This is your greatest resource if you're stuck finding sources for your paper. The librarians are there to help you, and you can access them in real time from 10 to 5 Eastern time, Sunday through Thursday. Oh, I'm sorry, from 10 to midnight, Sunday through Thursday, and 10 to 5, Friday and Saturday. So you have access to our librarians. You can contact them through email with a live chat or a text message. Usually the live chat is the easiest and best way to access the librarians in this way. Again, the librarians are here specifically for the service of helping you navigate the library. I encourage you to use these options that are available to you. If you get a librarian and you kind of think you're on the right track, but then find you're still a little bit lost or you need more help, just come back over and over again to this chat feature or the text feature or the email feature, though the chat usually, again, is the best and fastest. Take advantage of the service so that you find good sources for your paper. The next thing I want to draw your attention to is the MLA, APA, and Chicago style guides that the school offers. We use MLA 9th edition. So this is the one you'd want to click on for our class. And what you'll see when the page loads is that there's lots of information available to you for MLA. And I'm not going to get into all the specifics in this video related to that, but I wanted to let you know that the style guide is here. It talks about quotations and how to incorporate them into your sources using long quotes and how that should be cited. It talks about paper page setup and shows you sample papers. It even talks about in-text citations and when to use in-text citations. So if you go to the in-text citations basics, it gives you different examples. And it even talks about, well, what if your book or article has page numbers? What if it's a source that doesn't have an author? How do you cite that? How do you cite electronic sources that don't have page numbers? What do you do there? What if you have more than one author? What if you're using a video, film, or audio? What if it's an indirect source? And you'll see this in a couple of places where a source will quote someone else, and how do you show which source that is on your works cited page? So all of these are really great resources so that you get your citations right, you get your paper format correct, and all of the pieces of MLA. So I wanted you to know that this was here available to you. So the next thing I want to do is go into our actual library. So to search the library, you're going to click on search the library. So once it comes up, you have a couple of options. The first is that you can just in general search the library. You can type anything into this search bar to search. So let's pretend you were researching the legalization of marijuana, which is not a topic that I would have approved for this essay. So this is a good one. So legalization of marijuana. If I wanted sources on that, I could just search everything, type it right in here. Then over to the side, I can reduce my parameters, or I can increase my parameters to reduce the number of results I get. This gave us 7,000 plus findings. We probably don't need all of that. So let's go over here and we can make some changes. First, we can talk about resource type. I'm probably going to want to use articles rather than books because that's those are shorter sources and I don't have a lot of time for this assignment. So that's going to bring down my results count. Then I want to look at creation date. Usually we don't want our research to be more than 5 years old. So we're really going to want to limit this to 2018 or so, 2023. Then you could even look at different subjects within the idea of marijuana that would help you bring that down even further. You can also, let's see, We also want to consider availability. We want it to be open access and we want it to be available online. Both of those are going to be important to us. We're going to apply our filters and see what comes up. So we went from 7,000 sources down to 1,200. That's much more manageable. Not that you would read all of these, but this gives you a good starting point. So then you can start looking through the different things if you were on this topic. Let's say I really like this article. I'm going to click on it. I think it might have something good in it. I'm looking for it and I determine, yep, this might be helpful. Then I can go view full text online and then I will find my source through where it logs me to. So that could be very helpful to me. This is one way that you can search the library. Something that's very nice about searching the library in this way is that if I go back to where I found the site, if I come over here, I can pin the item by clicking the pin, and then I can come up here and click my pins, and all of the sources that I pin will appear here, which means that I won't lose sources that I potentially need that will be of help to me when I am completing my project. So it's going to show that what I just pinned about marijuana use is in fact on my pinned page. So that's one way. It's an easy way to search the library, but lots of times students prefer to go through the databases. And to do that, you can go to databases A to Z. And these are going to restrict you pretty much to articles and you don't have to worry about sorting through books. Over to the side, we have popular databases, Academic OneFile, Academic Search Complete, Opposing Viewpoints, and Newsbank, which will give us access to like the Orlando Sentinel and US Newsstream. All of those are ones that are likely to be useful to you. That said, you can also go by subject. So if your topic is in something related to with, let's say, computers, engineering, sound, that sort of thing, you could narrow down to the best databases for that particular subject. If you were looking at something with criminal justice, you can get to the ones that are the best for you. But I generally encourage students to start with the general databases, and our general ones, you're really going to look at Academic OneFile, Academic Search Complete, and JSTOR. Those are our best ones. So let's go to Academic Search Complete. One thing you'll notice with Academic Search Complete is you can't type into these search engines the same way you can Google. In Google, you can ask a question and it'll pop up lots of things. But here, you have to be a little more specific with what is called keywords. So I'm going to choose marijuana legalization. And then I'm also going to say, and I want to know about Florida in relation to that. What's happening in Florida? Or I could choose or Florida, or let's choose a different state. Maryland, let's say. I'm just choosing random stuff. So it's going to have marijuana legislation and or Florida and Maryland. So let's check and see what comes up. So then we get lots of information. It has about marijuana, the Great Pot Experiment, all of that. Over to the side, we can, you want to make sure you limit to full text. If you don't, the sources that you get may not have a full text, which means you won't have the full source, which would be problematic for your paper. So let's click on this one, see what we think. So if we go here, we know that we have the full text of the article, which is really good, that we can read the full text. You are provided an abstract, which is a good way to eliminate whether or not a source is good for you, or to determine and eliminate sources or include sources. That said, do not rely only on the abstract. Do not, under any circumstance, quote your abstract in your paper. You should only be quoting what's in the actual paper, not the abstract of the source. Please make sure you're paying attention when I tell you that. The other thing worth noting is that lots of times databases will give you citation information, so you can go over to cite. And then you can scroll down and you can look for MLA. So here is MLA 9th edition. You can then copy and paste this, but you would still need to make sure everything's correct. Sometimes there are errors that is not actually needed. So a good example of this might be that it doesn't include an access date. So you would want to make sure you included your access date at the end. Sometimes things aren't italicized that should be, or they're not in the right order, depending on the different databases. This database does a pretty good job with providing pretty accurate information. Some do not. So you want to pay special attention to whether or not what you're pulling is correct, because lots of times it is incorrect. So you'll want to double check those on that MLA 9 page that the library offers to you. So be mindful of that. All right, so this was EBSCOhost. Let's go back over to our databases. Let's look at Academic OneFile, which is a Gale database. Most students pull their sources from one of these two, but I'll show you another one in just a moment. Again, we're going to do legalization of marijuana and see what comes up. It already applied full text for us, so that's good. That means that we will get full text information. I am not requiring you to use peer-reviewed journals, though you might find a professor in the future who does, so be mindful of that. Let's say that I like this one from the study from the University of Virginia. I'm going to pull it. I'm going to read through my whole source and make sure that I have all of the information. This source probably is not the best source, but I did want to bring your attention to the fact that it does offer to you an MLA 9th edition citation, and it even does include the access date, so that can be helpful, though you would, again, want to double check that all the things that are supposed to be there are provided. So I hope that's helpful. The next thing I wanted to show to you was, let me go back to all. Opposing viewpoints can be pretty helpful if you want to know what the opposite side of an issue is saying, and you do have to address counter arguments. So this can be really helpful. So if we type in the legalization of marijuana, if that was our topic paper, what's nice is it'll give you academic journals. We can limit to full text documents, so that can be helpful to us. And then it'll give us different articles on the varying viewpoints. It'll give you reference articles. So it gives you lots of good information. And again, it's going to provide a number of options for you as you are, trying to find information. Another good one, if you're looking for the opposing viewpoints or different points of view, points of view reference center is excellent. It's the one I prefer. And it's really nice. And it's EBSCO based. You can go in and we'll take legalization of marijuana. And then I want to make sure that it's full text. That's already clicked. So I'm going to search. And then it's going to give you an overview of this. It's going to give you counterpoints. So you get points and counterpoints, and then you get different information. But it tells you if it's giving you an overview, a critical analysis, a counterpoint, a point, or whatever the case may be. So that can be really nice. A few of the various databases that are available to you. Again, you can sort them by subject. If you needed news, there's news options. So you could certainly look at that as well. You could just type in news, and it would give you the list of the ones that have to do with news. So America's News is really good for getting access to national news. Florida News Source is really good. New York Times can be helpful. So there's lots of good options, kind of depending on what it is that you are looking for that makes sense for your topic. I hope this tutorial for the library helped you out. And if you have questions, let me know.